Remember these? This was the top of the market. Maybe there were also the Blackberries, but those were for the expensive businessmen, right? So Motorola and Nokia, they dominated the market. The comparisons were about cost. You know, it's $50, $70. How big it was, smaller is better. Remember, smaller screens, smaller overall was better. Drop testing, battery life, how easy it was to swap a battery. You used to be able to do this. This was in a commodity market. And then just out of the blue came this amazing device, right? That everyone kind of started poo-pooing. Not everyone. There were some people that saw it. I certainly didn't, but a lot of people looked at it and said, look, this is $500. It's got 6 to 8 hours of battery life and you can't swap it. It's got no physical keyboard. It doesn't even fold up. It was as if Apple didn't even read the market reports, right? A lot of smart people looked at that and said that exact same thing. Steve Ballmer, CEO of Microsoft at the time, said, look, this is a $500 smartphone. This is nothing more than a fashion piece. I can get, other people are pointing out, I got a small protected screen for 1/10 the price, 1/5 the price, and it's already working. It's a keypad that works when my hands are wet. All these sort of things came up. And they were looking at it and they were saying, this is not competitive on a commodity metric. To make a phone call, to send an SMS, I don't need a $500 thing. I don't need all these complications in my life. Yes, it's sexy. Yes, it's fun, but it's just a toy. And they were right. It's not competitive in the flip phone market. What they did is they created a whole other market. Those new features created something completely different than what anyone was expecting. So they still aren't competitive in the flip phone market. It's still $500 or $1,000. It still doesn't fold up. It still can break when you drop it, but now there's just a collection of mall kiosks that can fix that one for you. So all these features started getting added, things people weren't thinking about. It's all actually built on that bottom one, an open platform for expansion. No one really caught that at the beginning, that's what was different. They weren't selling you a telephone. They were selling you something completely different. And I have a little web link to the XKCD comic over on the side, Monroe. That's where I got this idea for the slide. He's got a great comic that shows you how the technology or the features in your cell phone over time are this, you know, he's got other funny things because it's comedy, but I don't have the rights to show it. But nonetheless, it gives you the idea. It's that same idea. It's a whole different technology. The smartphone wasn't just a better flip phone. Same ideas already happened 100 years ago or so with automotive. In the beginning, this is a plot, this is a chart I put together. This is the total number of automakers in the United States for that year, that existed that year. And to make the list, you had to be existed for at least 2 years. So I screened out a lot of fly-by-nights. There were hundreds of automakers. All you needed were like 10 people and a warehouse, which kind of sounds familiar these days. And you could have started a car company. And at first, it was just a horseless carriage. They just cut the horses, they let them go, cut the reins, and put an engine on it. And then they started coming up with new ideas. They had lights, they had heat, oil heaters. And then eventually, as this all started to settle out, you got to a living room on wheels that didn't need any sort of special attention. That's nothing that's not something that any number of horses could have helped you with. It's just, it wasn't more than just a faster horse, to paraphrase Henry Ford. It was a whole different concept. So that's what we're looking at when I'm talking about what are the future, and I'll bring this up many times whenever you talk to me, what are these future features that are coming down the line? What are you developing that are going to change the market? What makes it more than just electric propulsion, more than just cleaner motion? Right? To summarize, the smartphone wasn't a cell phone, better cell phone. The electric light bulb wasn't a better candle. I didn't say that earlier, but I really like that one. Automobile wasn't a faster horse, and the electric propulsion isn't just a cleaner car or aircraft or boat or RV or drone or any of these things. It's something more. It brings something more. Let me get as a thought starter on that one, so it kind of also gets the point across. This is how a car works. If you talk to someone who's got 20 or 30 years in the auto experience and they know how to get that car out there and make the $3 per car and sell 1 million cars, so the company's actually, making those tiny margins or big numbers, this is how it works. And when they think about how an electric car is, they just think about that. A lot of times they're not even thinking about the battery. in the past. I mean, that's getting a lot better now, but this is getting that. And so they look at it and it's just replace those parts with these parts and you got it. And it's okay, it's more expensive, but whatever. They're also look at it and they say, okay, but at least it's different. I got regenerative braking. It gives me a little bit of different things. Great. But what else is there? So the basic functions are roughly the same, but would you pay extra to have the exact same feature and the exact same experience? No. But what can you get going? Look, electric fueling is at a slower rate. This is one I like to point out. Everyone likes to ask, how long does it take to charge? I don't know. When I wake up in the morning, it's full. That's my snarky response to people. Do you stand around waiting to put fuel in your car? That's weird. These sort of, think about it differently. It's unattended and available at more locations. It's available at home for a lot of people or at workplaces. Power flow and torque are bidirectional, independent from other wheels. Watch, do the search for Rivian's videos on YouTube and you see that tank turn where the wheels on the right-hand side are spinning in the opposite direction than the left-hand side. All sorts of possibilities over on this right-hand side. People have talked about solar power, vehicle to grid, all these sort of ideas of energy flowing. What else is coming? What else is there? I don't know, I'm just throwing these out there. Wide range of speed and motors. It actually changes transmission concepts. I don't think people appreciate how much transmissions are actually there because of shortcomings for IC engines. Now you don't need these very complicated things to change your 9 different ratios or to transfer power from the wheel that grip to the wheels that slip to the wheels that grips. You don't need that complicated thing. You can just put a motor there. You get the smooth control. You get the low barrier to adding more things. So you have 4 motors in the car. That's very interesting. Putting 4 engines, 1 in each wheel, that's much, much troublesome. Different efficiency characteristics, and oh my God, the order of magnitude faster response, so much better to drive. Different sounds and vibration. Everyone was focusing on getting quiet for a few years, and now they're looking at how do I make a brand-defining sound that's real, not an MP3, but like a real. Your motor and your inverter are designed in a way and operated in a way that you have just a brand-defining cool sound. Losses and idle at 0, no emissions. That's when we talk about, but it enables other things for indoor operation or pre-starting. And something specific and new to your customers and your application. Like these are all the things that are driving it. What are these new things? What are these differences? Rivian, I talk about them again, because like I said, I was part of them, but they just put a video out last week. And if you watch carefully the way that thing goes through the dirt and launches onto the dirt, it's different. You can just look at it and see the way it controls itself differently in the dirt than say some other off-road or fun to drive through the vehicle.